So my involvement in this issue starts from a paper that I co-wrote in 2020. I talked to dozens of people across New Zealand. The reception was mixed, but most noticeable were senior people who said that within these four walls, I agree with you, even as their organisations advocated affirmative-only treatment. We were asked to write a summary of our article for publication, and it was published, but it was withdrawn after a few days after pressure was applied. So this is a toxic issue. It's not possible to talk about it very easily at all. As a result of the article, I've spoken to many parents, and these are the kinds of things that have happened to their children as they've engaged with the medical system. So parents are pressured to accept that their child is another gender, even though underlying issues aren't explored, and even as they recognize that their child's belief arose after trauma of some kind. It's hard to explain the utter despair and disbelief of these parents about what is happening to their child. But it's not only parents who are silenced. Many hundreds of thousands of people cannot speak out, including many people in the health, education and social sectors who are already in roles where they're bound by hastily adopted affirmative codes of practice. I'm aware of numerous people who've not only been threatened, but have already lost their jobs for expressing concern about gender medicine. How can we have an open, consultative, democratic process under these conditions? It's impossible. In the media, we're being told that there are positive results to gender medicine. I followed up on an article in The Listener, and it was a different story. The research simply hadn't been published, that it was claimed in an article was published. And many of the claims, the positive claims that were made in this article have been rebutted, including just recently, Dr. Laura Edwards-Leeper, who is the chair of the Child and Adolescent Committee for the World Professional Association of Transgender Health. Sorry, I'm a bit thrown off track by the lack of screen sharing at the beginning. She said there are no studies to say that if we don't start these kids immediately on hormones, that they will commit suicide. So there are, in the last month, in fact, 3 clinicians, including Dr. Edwards-Leeper, have become whistleblowers for the World Professional Association on Transgender Health. And that association has, including the president-elect, that association has since tried to silence whistleblowers from their own organization by saying that it's inappropriate for any kind of discussion of these topics in the lay press. So even internationally, the information about these issues is being suppressed. How can we threaten to imprison parents under conditions where the professional organization that advocates for gender medicine is at odds with itself about the nature of and the wisdom of the medicine that it's advocating for? Finally, there has been recently introduced into the UK Parliament, not into the Parliament, but it is a submissions process has been opened for a conversion therapy, a conversion practices bill in the UK. And that bill it will be preceded by a 6-week consultation. It already goes further than the New Zealand bill, recognising that gender identity, changing somebody from a non-transgender identity to a transgender identity will be forbidden by the bill. But a submission has been made, a legal submission, which has said that the bill is likely to be illegal on its own terms. And I believe that this reflects the points that I made in my written submission, that the regulatory impact statement made the point that the bill cuts into freedom of speech and belief rights encoded into the Bill of Rights Act. It also relates to the issues that I mentioned about the way that these rights cut across and strengthen the point about the way that this bill would cut across the Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and the International Convention on the Rights of the Child, as well as the government's commitment to enacting a bill that allows declarations of inconsistency to be made with respect to a Bill of Rights Act. Then declarations of, that's what I have to say. Thank you.